Expectations.
It's just clearly fan fiction.
But Loki, it wouldn't have been as exciting for the audience.
It's that look. It's that look right there. That look like test me, mother. Yeah.
And then there's a little old lady.
Knives for sale.
Well, folks, welcome to Talk Hard and Halo Conversation, the end of season 2. It has been a journey, and we are here to hang out with you guys and hopefully put some nails in this coffin because lordy, it was bad. But yeah, we did a review of the first 4 episodes, and I mean, I barely kept Loki coming back to the show, and I was like, all right, we're going to pull the plug for a minute. This is so bad. I'm so bored and uninterested. Let's take a few weeks off. We've come back. Here we are to talk about it with our special guest, Angry Canadian brother, all the way from Japan. How are you doing, brother?
Doing good. It is early morning over here, and I'm ready to suffer in the last 4 episodes of this show with you guys. So I'm ready.
It's holy cow.
At least one of us is looking forward to it. God help us.
You guys have had your whole day. I'm just starting my day.
I think he's looking forward to just hanging out with us and talking about it. I think I can agree with what he's saying. Like, let's just therapeutically get through this and then just be done. And for those of you who didn't see my comments this morning on Loki show, there will not be a conversation on Talk Hard about Halo season 3. I'm not coming back. I'm not watching. This is I couldn't do it, man. This is terrible. Holy gosh. Oh my God.
I was just about to say, you know what? If you want me to do an intro, which was the funnest part of doing this season with you guys, was the intro. As long as I get to add Julia Roberts, Mystic Pizza, and make her the Mystic Pizza Lady, because that's the only good name we've come up with this season is the Mystic Pizza Lady. That's at the end of this last episode that we find out that was at the beginning of the first one. Mystic Pizza Lady, take Julia Roberts then and now, and base morph them into one person, and I'll do a season 3 intro. But hell no, I'm not gonna watch it.
I'm not watching it. So rest assured, folks. Unless you guys are just ponying up some massive super chat funding of my time, there is no way I'm sitting through this show again. I was so bored before, and then I think I watched episode 5. I think I told Loki I was watching and I couldn't sleep. I turned it on and fell asleep. So I was so bored. Episode 5 put me to sleep. Nothing happens in episode 5. It's kind of a filler episode where Halsey's back and she's medicating John's injuries and his emotional state, and everyone's dealing with the loss of his real name is Vanek. They actually say his name several times in season 2, which in all of season 1, I'm not sure any of us knew what his name actually was. We just made up nicknames for people. Season 2, episode 6 kicks off with them deconstructing my favorite character, Strawberry Spartan, and I was like, hell no, and I turned it off. And her pink stripe never came back, did it, guys?
Nope.
No.
So upset.
Nope, no pink stripe.
They took away my one love, AC. What am I supposed to do with a show like this?
I don't blame you for dropping it if that's the only thing.
I mean, I came out of season 1 cheering for Strawberry Spartan. I mean, Miss Mullet was like the nickname of all nicknames, and they cut her hair off. Autumn Sunrise didn't show up until what, episode 7? We didn't have
Yeah.
Autumn Sunrise.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And then, so I'm like, they're robbing me of all of my joy, and they just don't do anything in this show. But let's say hello to chat. And before we get too far into chat, thank you to one of my support members and great supporter. Thank you so much. $10 super sticker, Scott Whisper, my brother. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. As Loki says, help keeps the lights on, but it is just so important for us to be able to do this, and I appreciate it very much. So, and then all the way from the Great White North, the guy, the wrench of the wrenches, he is the goat himself. Hail to the triumvirate of talking hard. Hail to you, Chris Persia. Thank you for all you do. Also, another big YouTuber and friend. Thank you, Nerdporio Lifeform. Got that notification. Got to suffer this series with AC. It is awful. Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. Look at AC trolling him back, saying you really know you enjoyed it. All right. That's how you do it. So, Pat S in the house. Did you hear that Pops didn't like the new Ghostbusters? Me too. Really? Does he know the movie gave a couple of shout outs to 80s cartoons? Me. He doesn't like the cartoon either. Me. What? I'm like, yeah, well, I didn't say I don't like it. I don't like it definitely not as much as you Ghostbusters people do. I think real Ghostbusters has way too much Slimer and does not age well accordingly. This movie, Frozen Empire, is also a mess. We will have some Ghostbusters conversation in about 3 weeks. We're working out the details right now. So I think we're going to be about 3 weeks from now. We'll have some Ghostbusters talk. But probably going to spin our wheels more on love of real Ghostbusters 1984. So thank you, Pat. Thank you. AC is right. He does secretly enjoy, just like Picard season 3. Obviously, you know, everybody's trolling everybody. Didn't care for the new Ghostbusters either. Well, yeah. Why? Who did? Who did?
I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was great. I didn't think it was bad. It could have been 2016 level. Someone gave 2016 a higher score than Frozen Empire. I was like, I don't know what dope you're smoking, but I don't even consider 2016 to be part of my universe. Like that's an alternate universe fan fiction project, so I don't even hold that up to light. I just think Frozen Empire, upon dissection and the lack of story, it just continues to follow up. So caught up on Charlie X. That's some juicy comments. Ooh, all right, look forward to that. Lovely. Enjoying my Trek rewatch. Gotta get caught back up on that and doing those again. I did not record my latest one yet, so I'm kind of way behind. So, but yes. Jacob Ironside, hey brother, hopefully you're doing all right. And then let's see, did I miss anything here? Lots of comments. DJ Ronnie G is in the house. Hey there. Hey, what's up, DJ?
Well, it was brutal. It was brutal, Ronnie, man. I tell you what, it was brutal. Zax as well. Hey brother. Yeah, it was rough. It was rough. Let me get Ironcaster in here. He is back. There he is. How you doing, brother?
Oh, it's going. I'm happy. I'm so happy, guys. We don't have to watch any more of the show.
You loved it that much, huh?
Man.
Is it too late? This is just a shark movie instead.
So, you know, the problem is I don't want to get caught up in the negativity to the point where we can at least rest our laurels on the fact that we came together because of Halo. If it hadn't been for our Halo plan, then we wouldn't have come together. We wouldn't Mystery Science Theater the heck out of season 1. But little did we know. AC, we talked a little bit about Halo season 2 back when they were still just rumors and stuff. I don't think we hit the nail at all on how bad the show was going to be. And what I mean by that is they spent money to improve things like effects and some of the things that were just so god-awfully bad. And little did we know it was going to derail so far into bad, none of that even matters.
Yeah, I am flabbergasted because I remember commenting on a big Halo YouTuber's like trailer reaction, and I said, because he was like all in glow about it, and I said, dude, it's still going to be the same garbage regardless of showrunner or the writer. And he said, well, let's just give it a chance and see what happens. And yeah, 8 episodes later, I think it might be even worse than season 1 because they try to pull so many things from the lore that they just fumbled the ball at every episode. Whereas the first season was just like randomness, you know, like random stuff happening.
I'd absolutely agree with that. Yeah, absolutely. They tried for whatever reason, they tried to connect with lore and they failed. Amazingly failed. These people have no concept of what goes, who these people are, what goes on in their heads, the fact that Chief, where you get all of this emotion from Chief even when he has the helmet on in the games. There are these moments where it's like, I know exactly what's going on with him, even though he has the helmet on and you can't see it. That is storytelling. This is every 5 seconds you see him with his helmet off and you're like, what in the hell have y'all done?
He doesn't have the helmet on more than probably about 15 or 20 minutes to the entire series. I mean, I know it doesn't. I know it seems like it's even longer because they'll have these little sequences where he'll have the helmet on, but those scenes are usually only like a minute or so long. And if we cut out episode 8, other than like he has like the training sequence with braids and stuff like that way back in episode 2 or 3.
That's it. And that's all he's got.
Episode 1, they had the one mission. They go looking for the group that doesn't come back. There's like maybe 20 or 30 minutes tops of him actually in the helmet. And worse than that is they just meander through this show. Like, I don't even understand as we come out the other side of this what some of the points were for some of these story arcs and characters and whatever. So, but let's say hey to Shaggy. Hey there. Zax, did we get to see Master's cheeks? No, thank goodness we had. No, they cut all that out. There wasn't any more like let's see what it's like to be in the shower with the Spartans and have them pull out their little butt plugs. But no, we didn't have any of that.
That's crazy. Lord. You guys had to sit through that.
Oh my gosh! When they pulled that I was like, what is happening? He pulled his britches down, man. He's gonna pull a freaking sensor out of his, and then Strawberry Spartan does it, and that's why she dyes her hair. And I'm like, well, at least Strawberry Spartan's got some class. She's gonna go all in with the color. So they took away her color, and yeah. So episode 5 is just nonsensical. Halsey is back kind of stuff. Tension in the air. Not Dave Chappelle kind of being angry, but not being angry, and his witchy wife. Oh dear Lord, that was brutal. Episodes just, I don't know. So I don't understand why they would keep not Dave Chappelle around, because it really was just the entire arc was his witchy wife gets caught up in episode 8, and that's it. And it's like there's no story. I mean, I guess that's the story. He got kidnapped or whatever, and then brought into this, and I guess he's going to go back to his pirates who orchestrated him being kidnapped. I mean, there's no poor not Dave Chappelle. The actor at least tries to show up, but awful.
Oh, they I don't think they know what to do with his story, Pops. I don't think they realized at all that he was good to show up, because no one else on the show shows up. So for someone to actually show up, they're going, well, what do we do with this guy now? Oh, well, let's give him his own B side of the story. But even that, they don't know what to do with that. They don't know how to incorporate that. And then you've got witchy wife being like, you're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit person. You're a piece of shit father. You always have been. And then at the very last second, she's like, Soren, I was wrong. I didn't mean it. And you're like, yeah, what is this? What is this?
Yeah, couldn't agree more. So like the entire premise of Reach is going to fall and how they blundered their way through that and took the armor away. And then, and I kid you not, I swore they called POC lady multiple titles. I thought they called her general at one point, then they were calling her admiral. Now I could be wrong, but reality is she was just going to out douchebag guy. That literally,
yes.
The plot point was douchebag guy was now going to be duped by the bigger POC douchebag, and you're like, okay, that's not really interesting at all. Like, why are we going to cheer for the douchebag guy? Like he's now been the victim and he's put into the protagonist part of the story, and he actually saves not Dave Chappelle's wife and kid at the end whenever we have like, the fungi zombies show up, and you're like, I'm not cheering for douchebag guy. You guys don't get me and twist my arm into episode 8 having me cheer for douchebag guy. I'm literally just hoping that he gets caught behind the door too or something else. I'm like, I can't believe that's the kind of stuff that they want to go for. Is let's make the worst possible unlikable character, and then at the last minute, AC, we want you rooting for him.
Yeah, I don't understand because like they're trying to make her seem the Admiral General lady like she was in control the whole time. And I mean that is kind of a callback to the character in the books, but the way they did it in the show, like the execution of it was like poorly done, especially with how like she got fired from like the mistakes of season 1, and then they brought her back under like clandestine underneath everything and then took over. And then yeah, with Ackerson, which what was the nickname you guys decided to give him? I guess just douchebag.
Douchebag McGee.
Yeah,
Douchebag
McGee.
McGee.
Yeah, like it, like I well, besides him, none of the characters I had a connection with. So yeah, at the end where like he gets rescued, it's like okay, now we're going on to the next adventure. You know, we gotta make sure we bring everybody along with us, like that are important. And so yeah, it made no sense to flip him like that because he never really gets redeemed, in my opinion, at least in the real lore. So for the fans.
In Loki, Admiral General POC lady, they're trying to play it up at the end of the season like she was in charge of some things. But if we remember, she's the one that Master Chief tracked down and had soup with because that's the famous, yeah, they're here. And she was like, "What, in the soup?" And I'm like, "Okay, hold on. What the freak is happening in this?"
Well, it was her all along. It was her all along. They pulled a Disney and they did the Agatha Hartman. It was me all along because she never was released from Oni. So they've got it in this show where she's the head of Oni and she never stepped down. She just gave the illusion of stepping down. Like she's like, oh, I have returned to civilian life and I have nothing to do with any of this anymore. That was just one big bullshittery lie. And she's been out to get the Spartans and have her way the entire time, which is why they sacrificed Reach and then said, oh, finish his fight. So one of the things I was talking to Ironcaster about, because he said, I like those posters. Those posters were made between Halo 2 and Halo 3, and it was called Finish the Fight. And that was the big propaganda push from Bungie and Xbox to get you to play Halo 3, is to jump in with the Chief and finish the fight. But in this show, it says finish his fight, like he died. So her idea was to use Reach and him like some kind of false Pearl Harbor, apparently, or 9/11. That was their plan, was to use the death of a Master Chief and the fall of Reach as some kind of call to arms, with her leading the way.
Well, the thing that really did bother me is my understanding of the show is the fact that there's aliens out here in the greater galaxy is a secret to the everyday person. Like they don't know shit about any of that. But then we're gonna sit here and say like, oh yeah, by the way, Reach, this big military base out here on like the edge of space. Yeah, no, aliens blew that shit up, and our greatest hero, Master Chief, our poster boy for all our marketing and our recruitment driving ads. Like, yeah, he died. Like,
Well,
that's the thing.
angry.
None of that is. There's no sense of time that's passed, and that's one of the things that frustrates me.
Yeah.
Like that's a problem I have with like the Lord of the Rings movies. They don't give you a clear indicator of time passing. And this just drives me nuts because, hey, is this all the same day? Like the only way I know time passes is they say you were out for 2 days.
No, but yeah, they never ever keep you on some kind of like what timeline we're at, how much time's passed. We have no idea how much time passed between the fall of Reach and when they show up on the planet that the UNSC's on now. And correct me if I'm wrong, Canadian, there's like the inner colonies of mankind, and then there are the outer colonies. And the outer colonies were at war with the inner colonies. It was kind of like an uprising, a civil war, when all of this started with the Covenant. So there are planets that have no idea any of this was going on, and the military kept it hush-hush. That is right.
Yes, you are correct on that.
That's why the Spartans were created in the first place, was to go in, infiltrate, and defeat the Civil War bad guys, the insurrectionists.
Yes. Yes, because the Office of Naval Intelligence, or ONI, how they say in the show, they had the propaganda down to the T on making sure that people didn't know that like there was this infighting happening with the outer colonies. So yeah, the Spartans were created for that purpose before the aliens showed up.
Yeah.
And what you guys are saying about the time, right? Like just not like there's no reference of time. I don't understand how they gave us like this fourth episode with the fall of Reach is supposed to be this huge moment in the overall story. It's like the changing, like, or it's a key element in the story. And then next thing you know, like the crew somehow found the planet, or actually that's 2 episodes later. They find the planet where everyone else is on, the UNSC planet, and it's just like they magically found it. So I don't know, I don't understand like why they don't put any time reference in the show for us to like follow along with. We're just moving from one scene to the next.
How did Kwan and them and Soren find the Master Chief and save them? How did they know exactly what building on Reach they were? I mean, there's these people are dumb, and I mean, we almost give them way too much credit that they know what they're doing. I don't think they know what they're doing. I think they threw a whole bunch of shit up on a whiteboard and said, "This is what we're gonna do." And they've just kind of fumbled their way through it for 2 seasons. I really don't think they have a plan. I think they're dumb. They're just stupid.
One of the basic storytelling elements you could put in to help sell a story, to help push the audience, is a ticking time clock. Is a ticking clock. You got to push in the importance of the passage of time. And how easy would it be to go in and have and as part of the story say, we have 3 weeks to get to the Halo before the Covenant, and you've been out for a week.
Well, they shouldn't even know what the hell the Halo is, dude. They shouldn't even know what the hell the Halo is, because they have. How long did the fight on Reach last? Like a week, 2 weeks?
It was a long time. Yeah,
it was so yeah, 30 minutes. We get 30 minutes. At the end, okay, so at the end of the fall of Reach, they get Cortana to the Pillar of Autumn. Now, the Pillar of Autumn is the ship that's going to carry the Master Chief and Captain Keyes off of Reach. So they get Cortana to the Chief for the first time. Cortana's just been created. They get them off the planet. Keyes makes a tactical decision to do a huge jump right as he gets out of the gravity well of Reach. He's going to do a huge jump, and he's going to tear through subspace. That way he can get as many Covenant ships to follow him as possible. They find Halo by accident. It's an accident. At the very beginning of the first game, at the very, very beginning, you have no idea what the hell has just happened. You don't see the fall of Reach. All you see is the Pillar of Autumn, and you hear Captain Keyes say, Cortana, I just want to know one thing. Did we lose them? And you're like, who the hell are they talking about? Yeah, and Cortana answers. She's like, there's no way they would have missed us going through subspace. We punched through subspace. There's no way they would have missed that. They're going to know exactly where we went. And that was the point, was to draw as many ships from Reach. That way they gave people the maximum amount of time possible to escape.
So the stupidity of the show rivals all of Disney Star Wars or Disney Marvel, in my opinion, because I've gone through 2 whole seasons. When we culminate with episode 8, we're going to have this big battle over Halo. They're going to both are arriving. John and the Covenant, Hot Pocket, they're all going to land side by side. We've had a few conversations over one side gets it over the other. They're going to decimate the other one. Let's come up with some sort of compromise. These 2 people can somehow be key to that. The show is now wrapped at season 2. I still have no idea what Halo is, what the point of everything is. No one took control of anything to decimate the other. They stopped the whole show to introduce a completely different story arc that is loosely tied to the game. And I'm still wrapping my head around. I don't understand what all the point of everything is. Like I'm still. They just make it's worse than even Loki's saying, because even saying we shouldn't give them credit, they don't know what they're doing. It's even worse than that, because even when they think that they're doing things, if you just pause for a second and you're like, well, that makes no sense. Like that makes no sense. Like every step of the way is supposed to be pointing to getting to this halo, getting to this big battle, whatever. And then at the same time, I'm like, okay, well, wait a minute. Douchebag McGee didn't have a plan. You know, POC Admiral General, her plan is just absurd. Like it's just because isn't her plan? I'm sorry, correct me if I'm wrong. Her plan is get one of these kids that we throw in a suit to throw the spike in the computer system and basically set off the atom bomb that destroys everyone. Doesn't that include General Admiral? Doesn't that include her? Is she going to be in the blast zone?
No.
Or she's okay.
No.
They don't give me enough scale and perspective on where the battle is, because she's just spouting off orders from some CGI room, and then there's just stuff happening somewhere else.
We don't even know if the planet they were fighting above is the planet they were on, and if it is, why the hell is that in the same star system as the Halo?
Yeah.
Correct.
How
And
the
if
hell
it
has
was-
Oni been there long enough to create jail cells and underground bunkers and all that shit if the Halo ring's right there and we just haven't gone to check it out yet? No, and guys, that's our problem. For everybody out there listening to this is our problem. We went into this with our 4D chessboards ready to go. These fucks don't even have checkers. They don't even have a checkerboard with enough checkers to play checkers.
They don't have
We
tic-tac-toe,
went in
bro.
thinking this is, we're playing 4D chess here. We're trying to work with these people and have a game. They can't set up a checkerboard. We gave them way too much credit.
And then the other problem is there are just way too many storylines going on that to try to keep track of and try to keep going around. We have the story of not Dave Chappelle and his family, his trying to reunite them. We have the story of Dr. Doctor's kind of like survival out there in the wilderness of space, going and having little Laura Croft Tomb Raider adventures. We have Master Chef going and, I don't know, being a sad sack. They betrayed me. Like, no, you signed up for all this. You knew it was like that. We have this like Latina girl who's kind of there to say like, Master Chief, were you here to flip the coin? And did you make it happen? Oh yeah, by the way, apparently Master Chief is telekinetic. And then on top of all of this, we're gonna drop in some zombie shit. And by the way, if you want me to lose interest in anything faster, introduce zombies. I cannot stand zombies.
The Flood is so much more than I want to tell you something. The first time I encountered the Flood, I stood my ground, and that was the biggest mistake I could have ever made. I was a first adopter Xbox buyer. Soon as the Xbox came out, I was like, okay, I want something to go against Sony. I just happened to buy the Xbox Master Chief Edition, the very first one. I played the holy shit out of that game. My friends would come over and we would tactically, short control burst, go around, we tactically maneuver, all this crazy shit. And the first time I fought the Flood, I thought that I could stand my ground and fight. No, you run. You run and you run and you run until you get old Bessie, which is the pump action badass. You wreck that son of a bitch. You do not stand toe to toe with the Flood. You constantly move. This is the dumbest shit. It is not a microscopic virus, mold. It is not, it's a piece of mold, microscopic mold. They don't have containment. I went off on this for an hour last Thursday with the Dega. They don't have a containment unit in their lab. They don't have their lab set up to study this alien life form. They don't have any kind of checks and balances. They've got people walking in and out. They've got people stabbing people in the effing neck. And they're just walking down the hall smiling. Hi, oh my God, it's you. Oh, you just stabbed someone in the neck. We'll just put you down in the jail cell, even though you've been working with mysterious alien tech that could have totally taken over your mind and screwed you up and given you something. We're just going to throw you down with Gen Pop. My ass.
I was losing my mind with episode 8. I mean, AC messaged me about the finale, and I was just like, yeah, it's I can't even. I didn't answer back because I'm just I can't watch this right now. And then I got to it, and just like it's kind of ruined my day because it was so insane that they would just. It's like a completely different season of Halo. I feel like it's like a completely different thing. Like I don't understand what's happening. And by the way, we should probably just piecemeal together a few characters to talk about because Strawberry Spartan, they turned into the dumbest character in the history of dumb characters because she's loyal to Chief, and then they take her away from all that. She thinks Chief is dead. She's trying to train these newbies and all that, and they're just doing strong girl boss stuff. But she wasn't really that off-putting. She was just naive and being played. She's literally having a conversation with Ackerson, who's still trying to dupe her and keep her on the thing, but he's confessing about the lies, and she's not picking up on it. Like he says something about the line about this something, he said something completely different to her like 3 episodes again, and then does it again until it gets to the third lie. She starts catching on, but she never ever gets confrontational. It's so strange. And then to have her on this like suicide mission, essentially. I mean, I still don't believe she's dead. Strawberry Spartan is the only reason to even remotely acknowledge that Halo exists.
The thing is, none of these characters are gonna stay dead. Like, the Halsey, like, she gets freaking infected with the flood virus. So, because that's what it is. It's the flood virus. They just turn into a zombie. It's the T virus in space.
The suits aren't Sable. The suits aren't Sable. That no. She was on the bridge of a ship that kamikazed another ship. No, we're not doing that. That's horse shit. That's oh my God, the suit saved her. The suits aren't Sables. They can still die in the goddamn suits. I'm sorry for my language. I'm pissed.
Oh, I couldn't believe it. And whenever they took Cortana, they took Cortana and stepped on. You're going to delete me, aren't you? And they step on her and she disappears. And then literally like a scene or two later, she's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I uploaded myself to their computers."
Yeah. Where did that happen?
And then he's like,
she's just like, "Yeah, by the way, apparently they run all their shit on USB, so like I was able to transfer myself over."
And that's how he gets her. Is he sticks his fist in the USB port and he's like, "Yeah, you like that, Cortana? Yeah, take the fist." And suddenly she's in his head again.
Because apparently he's got that little RoboCop data spike.
Oh yeah, AC, you have heard YouTubers praising this show, so give us a plot point or something that they're just all in love about.
What I see them talking about is just more like the aesthetics of it. It's not like the sustenance, like as far as like the story, or because a lot of them rag on the characters like just being terrible, but all they talk about is like, oh, that looks like Halo, like how they have like the armor like this or the scenery like this. Never mind, they don't even use like Halo weapons in this season. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 scenes that you actually see a Halo weapon, and then of course the final scene. And then the rest of the scenes, it's all like random, like 20th or 21st century weapons or whatever. So they talk about like, it feels like Halo. I don't understand how you think this feels like Halo. It feels like generic sci-fi with just the Halo name slapped onto it. So that's all they talk about.
Season 2 doesn't even seem like season 1. Like they don't even feel like they're connected. And I will say they spent money on some special effects and backgrounds and sets, because even in the we'll get to the puzzle scene. Even the CGI puzzle lab or whatever at least looked reasonably okay. It makes no sense whatsoever, but at least they look better than what they would have done in season 1.
It sounds like when all the people were excited over the Obi-Wan show, and people were like, "Oh, look, he Vadered." Like in this case, it's like, look, they haloed, guys. Look, the Needler.
Yeah, you're right. They were like losing their mind over that. The dual wielding Needler scene in episode 8, like that was like their biggest moment for them. They got to see that in a show. Meanwhile, we have like the constant deconstruction of Chief as a character throughout this whole season. I think it was like worse in this season than it was in the last season.
That's not Master Chief. That's not Master Chief doing
It's
that.
Jimmy
The
Rings.
damn Needlers were bigger than the woman. The Gonzalez, whatever the hell, POC lady, the damn Needlers were bigger than her. It was like giant needle fists on a little tiny 5'3" nothing girl. That's not badass. That sucks. I want to see Master Chief, 7 foot tall, big bastard picking some bitches up. I don't want to see little tiny Mexican girl with giant needlers that are bigger than she is. That's gay.
It was
I wanna
so
see-
boring.
This is exactly what I see. This is exactly what I want to see when we get like the Needler pop up. I want to see these characters look like they're gonna be a badass. Like, no, it's a bunch of just CGI characters. This could be anyone. This isn't anyone I care about. This is someone who's I didn't even bother to give a nickname to, picking this thing up to go and be a hero. And like, am I supposed to care about the fact that some generic grunt of a Mark III Spartan like picked up a Needler and shot a couple of aliens where I blunk and I missed the action? No.
And I don't remember her name. What's her name? Gomez or Ortega or whatever.
Perez. It was Perez.
The worst part of her and her character was the fact that she was being partnered up and they were having conversation and presumably these emotional moments with some other rando girl who looks like she weighs 100 pounds. Like, I'm like, I was so dumbfounded by the stupidity of the decisions of the show. And it culminated with the 3 women standing in front of the puzzle walls with multiple puzzles, and Kwan, who I don't even understand why Miss Mullet was allowed to stay around. It makes no sense until this moment. And then suddenly Miss Mullet, the Asian, is like, I remember this cave drawing that was on my sand planet that they glassed, and here's what we do. We put these stars over here, and it opens the door, and there's like magical alien tech, and it's like,
well, remember, Pops, remember, only Mackie and not John can manipulate Forerunner technology. So what they've done is they've played loose and fast with all the rules. They've said, okay, you have to be one of these chosen ones to be able to activate Forerunner technology. Oh, wait, we want to make Miss Mullet be able to do that too. So we're just going to let her do that. It doesn't matter. We're just going to let her do that, and she'll be able to do that. Even though we've already established she can't, even though we've already established it's just John and Mackie, we're going to let her do that too, just because. Oh, wait, Autumn Sunrise can do it now. Autumn Sunrise can open up shit and activate it. Keys can do that. Or not Keys, Halsey can do that. So if Doctor and all these other people can do it, well, we're just going to forget that we set up and established that only John and Hot Pocket could do it in season 1. So screw it. We'll just let everybody do it.
I actually laughed out loud. They went through this trouble of setting this up, and then they have a very dramatic moment with McKee puts her hands on this thing at the end, and it opens the doors, and she scales the stairs with her dramatic look on her face, like she's done something and leaving John behind. The doors close, and John walks over, puts his hand on the device, and the doors open, and he starts. I'm like, what? Why did we waste our time with this? Like, what on earth are we doing? I was like,
and then we after that we suddenly cut to like Master Chief is like, or Master Chef is in a room talking with like Wes, one of the eyes from Portal. Like, oh yeah, by the way, he's just having a psychology like he's talking with his therapist over here.
Okay,
it's not
so
out of nowhere. I don't know.
so
I know
glad
this is a
you brought
character
all
in
that
Halo,
up.
but it comes out of nowhere.
I had no idea. I'll let AC go first. Explain to me what the hell was happening in episode 8 with this other rando guy voice talking to Matt, because it just started that way. Oh, episode 8 begins with Master, a close up of his face, and it's like a dude's voice. So it's some other AI tech of some
Did
kind.
Did you
I have no
know,
idea what's
AC?
happening.
No, I'm asking AC. Did you? I knew as soon as he was talking in the beginning and he's sitting there, I'm like, he got on, and that's 343. Did you know?
I knew it was a installation monitor. I didn't know if it was going to be 343 or not. The way they set it up, though, was really odd because it was kind of like an interrogation, similar to, if you remember the opening to Halo 4, when Halsey's being interrogated by the Oni officer. And I was like, why are they trying to draw like a parallel to that? Like, what is going on here? But basically, Pops, that it's that is called a monitor, and the ring, because there's no like the ring has to have somebody taking care of it as far as like the systems and stuff. So the ancient aliens created like these super advanced AIs that monitor the ring, the status, and all that other stuff. So that's what that character is supposed to be. Now, in the context of this like final episode, I haven't really fully figured out like where they're trying to go with it. But anyways, I guess like when something happens inside that installation, and then like he's having this like interrogation with John, more about like why did he do this, which I guess that final scene where you see him putting the helmet on and he's missing like his like a whole like eyepiece to his visor, and you're just like, wait, so how did he get to that point? Like, why does it feel like there's so many scenes cut out from this? Yeah.
Yeah,
the one thing they missed, the one big thing they missed is all of these things, all these monitors have been doing this shit for like hundreds of thousands of years, and they're either absolutely insane or they're eccentric to the point that they're like, you don't know if they're insane or not.
Yeah.
So they talk to themselves, they hum, they do all these really weird things that you wouldn't expect AI to do because they've been off on their lonesome for like 200,000 years. So because they've been left to toil by themselves, they either went nuts, they went crazy and they lost their minds, or they're so eccentric that they hum and talk to themselves and oh, look at this here, and they because they only have their own voices to hear. No one else has been around to talk to them.
One thing to add to. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead to your point first. Go ahead.
The last thing I want to say is Loki knows this. I don't understand why they chose to have like an unfiltered voice talking to Chief. Because somebody like Pops or even Ironcaster, when you were watching that, you're probably like, oh, it's another human talking to him. But some like me and Loki like knew like, okay, that's definitely the monitor talking, because in the games they have like a filter, like a robotic kind of filter to it. It was just so like unsettling to hear like just a monotone voice in a dark room.
They don't get it. They don't get it. I knew where they were going. As soon as the episode started, I was like, okay, he got on to Halo and he's talking to either he's talking to 343 or they pulled some AI out of their ass that he's talking to, but he's talking to another AI. I knew that. I just wasn't 100% sure on which one it was going to be. Was it going to be something like Cortana that somebody made, or is it going to be 343 Guilty Spark? And it just happens to be 343 Guilty Spark. But he doesn't sound like 343 Guilty Spark. He doesn't act like 343 Guilty Spark. And John's talking to him because Maki got on there first and convinced him that she's doing the right thing and Master Chief bad. Stop the other one that's behind me. He's bad. He's a baddie, bad. So Chief had to be sat down and interrogated by 343 to decide whether he's worthy to go in and turn on its systems and activate. They've come up with this crazy idea that you can control what the Halo zaps and what it doesn't zap. No, it destroys all biological data. It wiped all life out in the universe. And these stewards, these AI, they went back and like seeded life all over again. So Earth was completely wiped out. All life, all everything gone. And the Forerunners sent these AI to go and reseed the planet with humans, or reseed the planet with animals, or whatever life was on that planet, whether it was the Sangheili, the Prophets, humans, whatever. They put everything back the way it was before the Halo rings went off. Why would they go through all of that? Because the flood was going to take everything.
Okay, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to be distracting during your... You gave us way more information. None of this is in the freaking show. None of it.
No.
Ironcaster, did you have a clue at all what the hell was going on? I got some random dude who sounds like a Jason just talking to Master Chief about something. I have no idea what's happening. They flash back and forth. It's in the dark and whatever. And then Loki's explaining this is what Halo does. This is what this does. None of this is in the show. None of this. I have no idea what the point of any of this stuff is. I just literally have them put their hands on a magic thing, the doors open and close, like, ha ha, I'm going in. And then Master Chief does the same. And then you're back with the room with the dark interrogation with Jason, who's evidently 434. And I'm like, I don't even know and care about any of this crap because 2 seconds ago we were supposed to. Oh dear Lord. It's worse than Kenobi because at least they told me who the voices were. Other than Cortana, I had no idea what was happening. All this, there's stuff just going on.
Well, the way they talk,
there's a Last of Us outbreak, and I'm like, what the freak is happening in the show? Oh my God.
The way they talk about it, the way that Mackie Hot Pocket talks about it is that you can choose what you eliminate. That has never, ever, ever been the way it is. You can't just pick and choose. You can't go, well, humans bad, we're going to target humans, or flood bad. If the Forerunners can do that, they would have never gone extinct. But they would have never disappeared.
At the end there, Hot Pockets, she wants silence. She wants everything gone. She wants to wipe out all of it because war is bad. But
yeah, I didn't get the impression anyone could be tried. I mean, McKee just kind of thumbed her nose at everything. I'm just going to do it. And then it's sort of like I said, we cut from that stuff. We have no context of what you're saying about how it can be manipulated or not. We're just told this stuff in theory could happen. And then we have these interrogation voiceover thing. All right. Let's say hi to
it comes across like Hot Pocket wants to end everything because the Arbiter died.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like she wins. She wins.
Her alien boyfriend died, so she wants to destroy the universe.
Hell have no fury like a woman scorned. Master Chief stuck it in her and then was still in love with Cortana. So this is her revenge. I'm going to burn down the universe because you stuck it in me and you didn't stay with me. Yes, that sounds pretty much like a woman to me.
And then Master Chief goes and sticks it into her alien boyfriend.
Oh, Eris is sitting here looking at me. Eris looked over at me and was like, huh? And I'm like, oh, yeah, you missed that.
That's what it was when douchebag McGee is talking to Strawberry Spartan. So remember, douchebag McGee is talking to Strawberry Spartan, and his theory was Master Chief was crazy because he saw McKee. Strawberry Spartan's like, oh crap, he's seeing hallucinations. And then in that scene, he admits that McKee is still alive, and you're like, what the freak is happening in this show? Like, no one is to believe, no one is to be trusted. And then like you had Admiral General trying to bark orders to John. John, you go in there and you follow orders. Like, F you, dude. You haven't been in charge of anything since the soup. Who the hell's listening to you? This show is such a guys. I literally could at least follow the bad shows of Star Wars and Marvel. Halo wanders around so much in the last couple episodes. Then we hit episode 8, and literally the wheels go flying off this school bus, and you have Halsey and Autumn Sunrise in an alien lab with formerly known as Miss Mullet and a glowing bridge and all this crazy crap happening. They never used the terms that Loki said. All the things that Loki was saying about these people and that. None of those things. I can't connect any of those dots, especially not to what's happening with the Halo. What the Halo can do.
What? That's the problem. Sorry.
No. So the problem is a lot of this is the extended deep lore of the franchise that it's in there. It's baked into the games, and especially a lot of the later games. And they're just trying to all kind of cram all this into like season 2
but they expect you to know that. That's the problem. They expect you to know the lore, but they're shitting all over the lore. How do you have a show where you're like, okay, Pops, I expect you to know all this because this is the lore of the property, while at the same time going, we're gonna shit all over all this because it doesn't matter. This is Paramount's premier TV show, streaming show. This is the premier streaming show on their platform.
People are watching this crap.
And
I'm like,
yeah. It's got
so AC. I question you then. So if I'm supposed to know these things, wouldn't it make sense to every now and again at least give me the terminology so I can try to keep track? It's not making people who know what's in the lore and the canon happy. It's not making a newbie I've been as fair and open-minded with a show like this as I can. I've said that there were elements in it in the first part of it that were better than season 1. And I can't keep track. I can't tell you through points for things that are going on in this thing. How do I explain that we spend what how many episodes are season 1? 9, 8, 9? We spend
9.
Too many.
It was like a little bit more than season 2.
We spend 15 to 16 episodes getting to this giant battle at the Halo and Covenant versus this and blah, 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 blah happening. And then literally in the final thing, and you have the sequence, and it's like, nope. Meanwhile, there's a bigger threat, and it's basically a Last of Us fungus outbreak. And I'm like, what the F is going? And meanwhile, I look at our little talk hard chat, and Loki's like blowing up this entire explanation of what the flood is. None of it is in the show. I'm pausing the show. I'm reading what Loki's saying. I'm going back to the show. I'm rewinding the show. I'm losing my mind. It would be like watching a Star Wars movie and you have Jedi ghosts talking to characters, AC, and they don't tell you who any of those characters are. That's how I felt watching this.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, they clearly, like you guys said, they wrote it for the people that knew all this lore, but they just didn't know how to execute that as far as like for the new people that are coming in. And there was no like small bits of information per episode to kind of keep you guys in check, almost like knowledge checking you throughout each of these episodes. To remind you of like what's happening, because like it's all these like random side adventures, that somehow loosely connect. And then we get like this because you guys stopped at episode 4, so you go from episode 5 where it's like a random side story that happens. It's like, well, this had no reason to be in here other than for like their character development. And then episode 6 starts off, and you have Perez, like baby Spartan, basically like somehow found the planet that everyone else escaped to, even though they escaped from the falling planet in episode 4. Just random, like I don't know, like somehow she made it to that planet, and then the same crew that were following along, Chief and all them, found that's top secret planet. Which, by the way, Pops, if you didn't know, that planet that towards the last half of the season is supposed to be a top secret planet that's not on any like star charts or any like navigational databases, and like 2 ships were able to randomly find it in this last half of the season, which doesn't make any sense.
So even when they try to do filler, the filler will contradict itself later on. Like, so for the first 5 episodes or so, Halsey is the most wanted person in the galaxy. And then they're going to progressively run into people who couldn't be caught up to date that they shouldn't kill her on sight, or arrest her on sight, just so we're completely clear. And then they have all these conversations that Master Chief was dead and the fall of Reach and all that. And then the Admiral General is just talking to Master Chief, like she's been out, and then suddenly like everyone is still following her orders. It's like they contradict themselves at everything, to the point where not only could I not keep up, Ironcaster, I was losing interest. So who am I supposed to be rooting for, cheering for, liking? Like, Autumn Sunrise is an idiot. Obviously Halsey's evil. They put her in an ice space with the fungus, because that's a good idea. Who are we supposed to cheer for? Master Chief is a dope. Who's a crying? Oh my god! What?
We were supposed to cheer for and celebrate the gay, blind, albino Spartan.
Oh, well, of course.
God help me, dude.
Hashtag the per Spartan, right? Wasn't it?
He is the checkbox.
Emotionally support Spartan. He killed somebody with a grenade launcher. So listen,
checked on him realistically.
We need a shirt, Chris Bergia. I don't mean like a random Chris Bergia thing. Like, we need to figure out a way to get some element of the blind, and it puts like emotionally support Spartan or something like that on it, because that's Halo season 2 in a nutshell. Oh God, dear Lord.
What, Pops? I was laughing when you mentioned how like you're comparing the flood to Last of Us zombies, because when I was watching this, I watched this with Dread Roberts on like his Discord server, so we were watching it. As soon as that sequence happened, I was like, oh my goodness, people are gonna think like this is Last of Us zombies because of the way they like executed it, which is completely wrong. Like how they did it. It was all done with budgeting, as far as like people were like, they had the zombies running around, right? The actors and actresses just pretending that they were zombies, which is just not like what the flood is. And I know Loki already explained all that to you, but it just, I find it funny that you coined that, or you said that, like Last of Us zombies-ish looking creatures, which that's exactly what I saw.
When she's under the microscope and they have that bad CGI mold thing duplicating.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, they're doing Last of Us. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
I
they
have
don't
to
even
correct
understand.
somebody.
They don't understand. I've said that 2 or 3 times here. They don't understand. They're supposed to be connecting us to the lore that we love, but they don't understand and can't conceptualize what that lore is or how to use it in the show. So if their whole tagline is, hey, we honored the Halo lore and we expect you to know this stuff so that you can understand what we're telling you, while they've shit and pissed all over it.
Mm-hmm.
How is that honoring what came before it if they shit and pissed all over Keys? Keys is dead.
Yeah.
Okay, we thought maybe he lived. No, Keys is dead. Keys can never lead the Pillar of Bottom to the original Halo ring. Guess what? The Pillar of Bottom isn't going to go to the Halo ring because they completely erased the entire first and second game from lore. So that means that none of that shit happened. They've started over on this thing, but they've kept like key concepts that they expect you to know. How do you piss and shit in the face of everything that came before it and go, it's cool, we expect you to know what's going on?
I couldn't know. I couldn't keep track. Anyway, Mike says pointless and boring. Mike, understatement. I have to correct Jacob. Jacob, I'm sorry. You're completely wrong. Body positivity Spartans, just so you're clear. There's a couple of shots of the other Spartans, and they are a mixed bag of POCs, and there are some body positivities. Oh, no. But there is only one gay, blonde, albino, body positivity, emotionally support Spartan. There's only one guy, and he is a goat. He killed some enemies with a grenade nail launcher. So just don't want to correct you, Jacob, but this show was way worse than that.
He's a physical therapist too.
Holy crap. Oh, dear Lord. This makes my head. I couldn't believe it, guys. It was still boring to me and uninteresting, and I just, I was like, are they ever going to actually get to what Halo people want? Oh, well, episode 8 will be this big battle scene. It's called Halo. Obviously, that's where we're going. Okay. So I'm lumbering through 5, 6, and 7. I'm feeling bad about not Dave Chappelle looking for his kid, deal with this. I mean, they made the wife so insufferable. Oh, dear Lord. And then suddenly in episode 8 is when this thing, it's just, like I said, I can't harp on it enough, guys. Why on earth? I mean, General Admiral POC lady dies at the hand of the flood zombie guys and not anything to do with this war that's been set up for 15 or 16 episodes. I'm like, what is happening? And
she's looking at Halsey like it's her fault. I don't know if anyone noticed that, but Halsey's like closing the door and she's looking at Halsey like, this is all you.
They zoom in, people. They zoom in. It's very dramatic. It's like, and you're like, what? I don't care. I'm sitting there like, I don't care. I don't. And they put Halsey, she has the stuff is on her neck. Save you, mommy. I mean, I hated you 5 seconds ago, but I'm going to put you in suspended. Because that's a good idea. She should come back and she would look like a moldy thing of bread where it's all spread all over her.
Well, by the way,
oh, dear Lord.
If they do find... this will just be lore breaking even more. If they somehow find a cure for the flood in the show, that just how do you say, voids out what the purpose of the Halo rings are. So then why have that in the show then if you're gonna void it out as far as the purpose of it?
And to go with that, all the Covenant's technology, all the badass laser stuff, the giant, the high charity, all of that was created by the Forerunners that spent generations fighting these things. And they couldn't come up with anything to do something like that. So if in some way AC is right, and Autumn Sunrise comes up with a cure, they just generations of the smartest people in the galaxy. These people created ships to travel between galaxies, and a Milano chick who has blonde hair because her mom's blonde and black hair in less than like who knows, probably a season, is gonna come up with a cure for the flood, which they now have made a disease instead of. Oh, give me a
All right.
fucking
Look,
break.
you don't get it. It's women in STEM is going to save the day.
Oh, she's just the women in STEM standing there looking at the giant wall of puzzle. I was like, okay, hold on a minute. I don't want to be the arrogant male in the room, but no. And then the Asian one is the one who.
Because we need more women in STEM.
Give me a fucking break.
So, let me ask you guys: do you think Keys is dead?
Yeah.
There
Oh
is
yeah.
no-
He's
yeah.
dead.
Oh yeah. There's no way they're bringing him back.
You say that, but I'm convinced, like, if they'll bring him back and it's like, say, somehow, much like Palpatine, somehow Keys returned.
With 4th-degree burns or whatever, like he got
Yeah.
barbecued.
He just got his magic metal pipe.
His magic metal pipe. That's what saved him.
Yeah. Yeah,
But-
they made it up like that was gonna be like something like really significant and important. It's like no, apparently not. It's just a neat looking pipe.
So this is the explanation. This is what they'll pull out of their ass. Keys was working on the Spartan Mark III program, which is just a suit. Apparently, you don't have to genetically modify the user. You just put on a suit and you're a Spartan, because that's what they did with Perez. And he had a suit stuffed halfway up his ass. And right before the explosion, he paused time because he has the time stone from Marvel. And he pulled the suit out of his ass. He put the suit on, and then the explosion happened, and he's okay. Because you can ram a Covenant cruiser into a Covenant battleship and be on the bridge and survive if you have a suit on, because the suit protects you from everything.
And the stone's up the pipe.
I was going to say we should say something. Go around and try to say at least one good thing that actually happened in season 2. And that's
Good luck.
My internet kicked me out, so I was like, "Wow, that's a freaking meta."
No, you're not. We're not even supposed to talk about anything good in this show. Like that apparently is not happening. But I mean, we could try it, but we'll see if the internet says otherwise.
Yeah.
I am curious to know, Pops, when you were watching the sequences with the baby Spartans training with the Mama Spartan, and they were on the ship, and they're trying to plant that spike, right? The training sequence. Did you get the feeling that they were on an alien ship, or were they on like a regular human ship? I'm just kind of curious what you think about that.
I mean, I just assumed they were on either a human ship or a human base, a planet with a base on it or something like that. They're in some sort of training module thing like that. Of course, I was not particularly interested enough to care like much, other than the fact, because I'm laughing at the fact that you just literally are watching like a bunch of 100-pound 20-year-old, mostly women, like emotionally melt down at every 2 seconds for the simulation. Like these people like know what they're getting themselves into. Like I was so distracted by all of that. I don't even think I really thought too much about my setting and where I actually was.
Because like they failed in like creating like the alien environment of the ship. Because for those of us that played the games, like it's like purple hallways and like this like super smooth surfaces and like interesting sounds and lightings. And then you're watching this and then they show the same ship, the same set design for like episode 8, and it's like, are they really on an alien ship, or are they like on another human ship? Because like they just didn't know like how to capture that. So I was curious, as somebody who's not played the games, like what did they think? What did you think about the set design for that? Because it was terrible. Like it was just terrible.
Yeah,
Like,
I never
I
got
remember it
any
being
sense
really
of. Like I said, when Strawberry Spartan took control of the ship or whatever, because she comments before she does it. I didn't actually know what she was doing. I actually was kind of lost on where she was and what was happening. So.
Well, with that sequence there, I thought they were setting up that Strawberry Spartan had gone and she had lowered the difficulty to try and give them at least some sort of moral boost. Thinking, hey, maybe she's trying to encourage them to get better. But no, that was even taken away, where she basically keeps smashing their heads against the wall until they break through it. Like, So what I would have given as a praise, it just turned around and they're like, yeah, no, we're just gonna smack this out of your hand. No, it's not even good enough.
Yeah. The only sequence I think of the whole series, I mean, I thought early in the show when they had like, little missions or whatever, I thought those were actually more CGI solid than season 1 was, and there were some moments. So at the end, when Chief just show up to save them all or whatever, that little shot and some of that music and whatever, and just all that, I thought all of that was fine. It's just by this point, I'm so emotionally drained and over the show of knowing or caring about all these other characters and what's happening and stuff like that. It just, I don't know. It feels so pointless. But I can see why the YouTubers, the AC you were talking about, are like, oh my gosh, I finally get it. Because there are still people who are doing that over like Ahsoka and the flashback sequence with Anakin and stuff that was all in her head. Like I just had a debate with someone who's like, that was so great, whatever. I'm like, none of that actually happened, right? That was just in her head, in her coma.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, yeah, I guess so. I'm like, what do you mean you guess so? That's what was happening. And I'm like, it's sort of felt the same way. Like, oh yeah, it's happening, but I just don't care anymore. And I think that's the problem with a show like this. They just wear you down. Or in Loki's case, they set him on fire. So yeah,
it's like when Kylo Ren had to imagine Han Solo was there so he could forgive himself.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. Who's Kylo Ren?
Did you guys like the scene where Hot Pocket burned herself for the Arbiter?
What's happening? I actually thought we were going to drift into a bizarre adult
Alien
content
human
moment for a moment there, like Hot Pocket, and all right, she just starts undressing. I'm like, what is happening? I'm like, oh, whatever.
Prior to probably Loki, like info dumping you on that, did you know who like the Arbiter was, or like did the show explain to you like who that big alien was that was in the relationship with her?
No, they still haven't. I still have no idea who the Arbiter is.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I know.
I didn't.
I know who the Arbiter is in the context of it just being this one that didn't seem to like her, and then just becomes her protector. And it's like I don't understand its reasoning or what it's supposed to be. And I definitely come away knowing that there's no way this is tied to the game. Like I come away just completely going, there's no way this makes any sense in the concept of that type of shooter game. Like I just literally looking at it going, there's no way any of this makes any sense.
They don't explain it. They don't explain any of the things you need to know to understand. And I think they do that so that they can make anything up later that to contradict what they've already done. They're so dumb that they know they're going to write themselves into these corners. So why explain it when we can just write ourselves out of it later? The Arbiter is a position of failure. It's a position of redemption, but of ultimate failure. The Arbiter's going to die, as all Arbiters do. That's their destiny. They were promising Sangheili elites that made a huge mistake, and this is their redemption arc, but their redemption arc always ends in death. So, and it goes back to when the prophets, which are the really ugly alien-looking sons of bitches that are even more uglier than the elites, fought the elites to bring them into the covenant. Because the elites are supposed to be the high protectors of the covenant. They're the military arm. And they also protect the council. So there's so much lore and information of when they met the elites, the Sangheili, and what their job is and why the Arbiter is the position that it is. Because the first Arbiter stood against like a union between the Sangheili and the prophets, what's going to end up being the covenant. And so they've incorporated the Sangheili, the elites, own like religion in a way into a position of power, but that position never goes anywhere. The person always dies. As long as they die a good death in service of the covenant, then it's almost like their soul's redeemed and they get to go to heaven one day. That's what the prophets use as a way to control these species is if you do things our way, you will get to go on the great journey one day. This is all shit they've never explained. This is all stuff that they've had 15, 16 episodes to explain. They just don't give a shit because they're going to write themselves out of it later anyway. But they still expect you to know all this so you understand the characters you're dealing with.
They haven't explained anything about the covenant and the belief systems and the prophets and priests and all that since, what, 2 or 3 episodes season 1. Like, we're so far removed from all that. There's just been these random appearances by priests and stuff and things like that, but there's no context of sometimes where we are in the galaxy and what's actually happening in context. Like, I've just kind of gone along with it, and just knowing that it doesn't really matter. It's kind of how I have felt.
They've basically just gone about as far as throwing out a buzzword or two. Oh, prophet. Oh, this must be religious. It's like there's no explanation, no getting into and saying what's going on. What are their actual beliefs? Like the fact that the Covenant revere the Halo as this holy artifact is almost like not even mentioned at all in this entire series.
Yeah, they covered it a lot in season 1, and they just kind of leave you, and they just never really kind of tie anything backwards to anything. But speaking of the religion and spiritual stuff, and we have to get to Mystic Pizza. AC, you had to know that when Mystic Pizza showed back up in episode 8, that I had to pause. You had to know that it was going to break me. Like, we're just going to have Kwan tied to Mystic Pizza, an Indian lady who basically, she was rejected from the cast of Echo and ended up in Halo. And I'm like, what in the name of Holy Hannah is happening? I don't even understand what this has to do with anything. And I know it doesn't have to do with anything, but reality was, I was like, oh my gosh, good Lord.
Some people always stay busy with work.
Dude, I knew that. That's why I texted you. I was like, this is not going to be good for poor old Pops here, who's trying to like comprehend what is happening. The thing with her, this is the thing, is the writers think they're smarter than they really are, especially with dealing with the really deep lore of Halo. So they think what they're trying to write with this character is Kwan has like this special how would you say this in simple terms?
The girl who's the key to everything.
Yes, they're trying to write her as the girl's the key is everything, because I think it's because she got so much backlash in the first season because she was just like insufferable. So they're gonna one up the fans by saying, you know what, we're gonna put her in everything. But what it is in the Halo lore, the humans, like Loki has mentioned, they're all able to touch and interact with Forerunner objects because they were chosen by the Forerunners to do that. And so what they're doing with the show is they're having like the chosen one type situation where there's like specific people. But with Kwan specifically, she somehow has this like mysticism power where she's apparently communicating with her ancestors. Because like there's a line that the Mystic Pizza lady says about like we're all inside you, like kind of referring to like her ancestors or whatever, which it's like, well, if she's Asian and you're white, like how are you related to her, I guess? But that's pizza. Yeah, it's mystic. So pizza. Yeah, that was like Halo, it does not have mysticism in it. Like it just doesn't. It doesn't work. It's a sci-fi like epic. So yeah.
Well, not with the humans anyway. If you want to do that and get into that with the Covenant, that's to be expected there. And that's where you should bring that sort of element in. Like I was kind of saying in our private chat, was how if you want to bring in someone who can kind of help convey that across, to say how, you know, the thing is that all these guys in the military, they're looking at this as hard science. They're looking at all this through the lens of that. They need someone when they would need someone who understands the spiritual element. And that's where you could bring on a character like that. Someone who, you know, has gone and studied all these like different philosophies and religions and faiths and how all this ties into the cosmos and space. Like that's the way you could have brought that in, but no, we're just dropping the ball. And like, no, by the way, you're just talking to a ghost now.
Yeah, she's just randomly hallucinating Mystic Pizza lady. Like I was so checked out. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. So, all right, guys, we survived season 2. Okay, Loki, any last thoughts? Please forgive me.
I'm not doing this again.
I'm not.
I
Even,
love
I'm
you
not-
guys. I love this show. I love Pops. I love hanging out with Ironcaster. AC, it's been great to talk to you about this. I will not be around for season 3. If you want me to do another intro, if you decide to do it, if you change your mind, I'll be more than happy as long as I get to include Mystic Pizza Lady. But
I might
I'm
have
just,
you make a little intro just for me to like maybe do like episodic reactions or something. That would be like 5 minutes long.
Okay.
There's no way I'm going to try to digest. There's nothing there. There are whole episodes, guys, of just nonsense of happening. I don't know. No, there's no way. No.
We
I
had to
get you,
have
brother.
Master Chief walking around and feeling emotions.
But
Yeah.
it doesn't even have. So even when he's trying to at the end, so there's like episode 7 and 8, he's going around, he's trying to say things, he's trying to talk to people, he's trying to, and most of the time there's still nothing there. It's just, it's not even like a child or someone who's really, it was really just very hollow and empty. And it's them. They don't get Master Chief. They rewrote him as John, and now they don't know what to do because they need him to become Master Chief in the finale, and the motivation's not going to match. So you're sort of trapped with just a big complicated mess. So
do you remember the Agonizer booth in Mirror Mirror, in Star Trek Mirror Mirror and Enterprise and all that? Remember the Agonizer booth?
Yes.
I don't. Yeah.
I would take a couple of hours in the booth before I'd watch this shit again. Yeah. I would take like, an afternoon being tortured on a neural level where you don't pass out, where you just keep getting, I would take that over this. This is like Clockwork Orange shit. I never stop when I'm watching something. I watch the episode. If I have to binge, I binge. I constantly had to stop and walk away from this shit. I had to pull Pops. Mm-hmm. I had to. Otherwise, I would have grabbed my screen, my 40-inch screen in my office, and I would have chunked it out the effing door. That's how.
So bad.
So I'd take an afternoon in the booth before I'd watch this again.
I am so with you. This is literally, and I really am standing by this. This is literally down there with like even Secret Invasion like set up a really like woman boss. Like, so they're like, what did Halo season 2 even set up? Like, it really just sets up a bunch of random, confusing things that haven't been explained because they don't want to explain them because they can do whatever they want to do later on. So like, yes, Hot Pocket and John are at a Halo and he's in some sort of dark room being lectured by an AI Jason. And there's some sort of like fungal outbreak with Autumn Sunrise and like there's just random crap happening, but so like I don't care. Like it's just I feel like we're in the middle of a season, not like at the end of it. It's just so bad. And all right, Ironcaster, what final thoughts? Ironcaster.
I mean, unfortunately, for any good things that the show has, there's like 5 negative things that makes it so hard to like. The one bit of praise I can give is like the last fight with Master Chief in the Arbor. It looks pretty, but the problem is it's like we kind of need him for the series to keep working. We're going to kill him off. And this is how we're ending our 2nd season. Oh, Master Chief, how did he survive going through re-entry and the ship crashing into the planet like that? That's not explained. He's Master Chief. That's how he survives. What? No.
Well, it was like them trying to explain why Cortana's just in his head again. They surgically remove it, and then like he shows up on the ship. Hi, Master Chief. How you doing?
He's like I said, he just uses the RoboCop data spike, and he just uploads her to his brain again.
No. Go back a couple episodes. There's a quick sequence where they communicate or whatever because she sends a signal across the galaxy or whatever. Things like, and you're just like, it makes no sense. It contradicts everything you guys did a few episodes ago. My God, you make my head hurt.
So
AC.
She doesn't need to be any. She could be everywhere.
AC. Final thoughts, my friend.
For me, this show is the direct antithesis to the real Halo series or the real Halo lore. And when it comes to this show, is the most anti-human story that I've ever seen. Halo's all supposed to be about pro-human, humans coming together to deal with a greater threat. And all this show does is it just dunks on all the humans like over and over and over again. And the aliens are just there as like eye candy. And then it goes back to the humans being like the biggest problem. Whereas like in a world today when we're all struggling, we're all fighting with each other, if they wrote this show to be the most like pro-human, pro-working together type of show, it would have worked really well and it would have brought people together. But they decided to go the opposite direction. The showrunners knew what they're doing. They had an executive producer who actually worked on a few of the Halo games. She was executive producing the show, and they chose to write this like anti-human story that just destroyed the character of Chief as well as like the whole like story of Halo. And so I don't know. I don't understand how these tubers out there, these Halo YouTubers, can like promote this when it's like just a complete antithesis, or it is an actual antithesis to the real lore. So appreciate you having me on, by the way.
I'm reminded of something Robert Meyer Burnett was saying earlier this week, and he was talking recently about Star Trek and kind of how there's this larger issue of how there is nothing authentic. You have people writing these shows who do not believe in the very system that they're supposed to be writing about. Like you have these nihilistic people who see everything as conspiracy, that nothing can be trusted, and that's what we're getting here with this government. We have like very Harkonian plans within plans of like secret government organizations working undercover where everything they do is set up to be lies and no one can be trusted. And who is there to actually root for in this show? Like that's a legitimate question.
Yeah, no, that's very good.
I mean, you're supposed to
us hating it. Us hating it. That's who you effing vote for. That's who you root for, is us hating it. Because that's all there is there's people that are like, oh my God, it's the bestest thing ever. And you're like, how much were you paid? Did we watch the same show? I've seen 5-star reviews. I don't get this. I've seen 5-star reviews, 5 out of 5. What? That's a 10 out of 10. That's a perfect score. That open with, there are problems with this show. And you're like, wait a minute. If there are problems with the show, why did you give it a 5 out of 5? Well, I gave it a 5 out of 5 because it's trying. Did we watch the same show?
Yeah, what is going on?
This is a problem. That's
if you have to start out your review with it has its flaws.
But you know what?
That's automatically you're below a 5.
This isn't everything. This isn't everything now. So I'll tell you a couple things. First off, I saw this happen with obviously the Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. A lot of people were like praising the show, or they give it a 7 or whatever, and then they list off all these problems. I'm like, none of those problems matter to you. None of those. But more on the point. I just had someone a few months ago gave me my I had my first negative response on an eBay transaction, and basically the card I sent him was the wrong card. It got mixed up, so someone else got the other card. I don't have a replacement card, so I gave him a refund, told him I was sorry. He left a negative. I was like, dude, why did you leave a negative? I got the wrong card. I'm like, well, yeah, but the negative is like the transaction, you know, it's like, this is bigger than, oh, there was a mistake. It's like, no, it's just bad. I'm like, so there's no, people just have their emotions made up on what they think or feel or what they want to say. Even if again, this is presuming they're not just a paid person to give something a 10, because that's probably a more likely explanation. Because this is just crazy. This is just nuts. So yeah, AC, smooth brains, lost a piece of my soul. AC, thanks for sharing all this tonight, because it's been brutal. So let's go around though. Let's talk about what's going on. AC, Ironcaster, let me start with you, because you got something coming up pretty quick, so we gotta let you plug that.
Yeah. So here in about an hour, I'll be on with T-shirt Historian for our little midweek in geek kind of recap. So we're gonna get together. We'll kind of talk about, see what's going on in sort of the world of geekdom. And oh boy, is the world of geekdom on fire, because you have everyone coming out of the woodworks. You have BBC BBC reporters talk about how gamers have to be purged.
Oh, BBC people. Yeah, I know. I saw that. It's crazy. Gamergate 2 made it. It's like the BBC. Like what? Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so there's that. And then of course Monday nights on my channel, the Mech Pit chat, where we're talking about some big robots, fun stuff. So
yes,
hey, there's some more Bravern out there. There's more, Power Ranger stuff going on, some Super Sentai, Transformers, all that fun stuff. If it looks cool, we want to talk about it. Like yesterday, there's this kind of interesting little gameplay footage I came across of like dinosaurs with swords. It looks amazing.
Well, you said dinosaurs, AC, so that puts the ball in the tee for you, my friend, because you're a big fan of the old dinosaur content. Yeah. What's going on with you, AC? You got a video planned? We need to talk offline about Star Wars Day, so hit me up privately about that. We need to figure out some stuff to do.
Yeah, man. As for me, first of all, thanks for having me on and talking with you guys. I'm kind of busy these days with like some personal stuff. So as far as like a set video coming out, I don't have anything right now. This weekend is Easter weekend, so I'm not streaming this weekend. So probably the following weekend I'll be streaming. So just have the bell turned on for my channel, and when I drop a video, then you'll be ready for it, or a YouTube short. We'll see. So, but yeah, thanks for having me on, Pops, and I'll DM you about Star Wars Day because I have an idea for myself at least.
Yeah, we definitely need to try to get as many people to get some content. Let's flood the market with some positive content on Star Wars on May 25th, the true Star Wars Day, and just talk about the stuff we actually loved and liked and that kind of thing, because it's just easier to just get caught up with some of the negative and how bad it is. But I think it's the one day a year we can kind of just hang our hat on the true IP and what's at the horror and the love and share for generations to come. So,
hey, I'm old enough.
YouTube talk, brother. What?
I'm old enough to. I was just gonna say I'm old enough to remember when Star Wars had white people in it.
I know it was nice. It was a different time. It was a galaxy far, far away, possibly.
Anyway,
and men.
Speaking of Star Wars, we're gonna have Echo Base on tomorrow morning for YouTube talk. There'll be Coach from EBN, who rarely gets to come on because obviously he works in the morning, but he's got this week off. So he called me up and was like, Loki, YouTube talk. And I said, yeah, dude, let's go. Let's fire it up and we'll go. And we're going to talk about their switch from Star Wars only content to a much broader base of content and how difficult that was for them to do. We're talking years in the making, because every time they tried to do something, YouTube would punish them. So we're going to talk about what it's like to step away from that niche and go global with what you're doing.
Yeah, indeed. So, all right. Well, listen, tomorrow I'll have a comic book talk on with James Mealy, Why It's Great, talking about good comic books. So we'll have that drops tomorrow. I don't think my Watch Your Story will be ready this week. But yeah, I got one recorded. I got another Pops Talk coming, working on editing that. So kind of get the wheels going a little bit with the new situation and life changes here as well. But it's always good to talk hard. Next week, Mom and Dad Saves the World, 1992 with John Lovitz, a complete buffoonery, parody, satire, comedy from the 1990s. I have not watched it yet. I have reached out to someone to join us as well, because it would be the first time they have not seen it. They haven't seen it. Well, I know Ironcaster is the one who's got us plugged in on this one, so we'll see. We can at least all have a chuckle and a laugh, even if it's just stupid. It's okay. The week after that, though, we'll be back for a serious movie. One of the GOATs, in my opinion, the Transformers, the movie, the 1986 classic animated film. We haven't rung the bell enough 40th anniversary Transformers talk, so we got to do that. We will be having a special guest in with us, Mike Pacific 414, a huge Transformers guy. And I always tell him, when we do that episode, we'll definitely bring him in. He actually just did a thing on it on his channel as well, so we'll have him in for that. And then the week after that, I'm pretty sure, I got to confirm with our guest, but we will probably just kind of do a little general Ghostbusters talk and kind of talk about some love for the 84 film and then kind of like what's next for this franchise, because it's kind of one of those like overrated franchises. You would think, as big as Ghostbusters is with the merchandise and the cosplay and all that they really had one great movie, and then you got some other movies, and it's like, where do they go? So that will probably be where we're at in the next few weeks. So good, it's very good, gentlemen. We've survived. We've survived, and all I can say is my apologies for us enduring and getting through it. I thought we would have a lot more laughs. I thought it would be. It was just so generic and bland. It didn't even offer itself up to the kind of parody and mockery that season 1 did, and that kind of made it even more miserable in a lot of ways. So it is what it is. We can turn the page, though. We can turn the page. I appreciate you guys so much. I really do.
And with these next couple picks, let it be said that I could pick out a good movie or two.
Well, it's soon to be determined. Next week we'll kind of judge how Ironcaster died. Look, have you seen Mom and Dad Saves the World?
Oh yeah. I go back. Oh yeah, I saw it when it first came out on VHS.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing this. I watched the first few minutes. It's free on YouTube, even. Like, I found it. Like, oh, it's so it's like it's not even hard. Like, I started watching it. I'm like, I do not remember this at all. Like, at all. So maybe it'll come around. Obviously, I know like many of these cast members are, you know, well-known actors, so it's not like I'm familiar. Maybe it'll click that I watched it back in the day, but has not clicked yet. So, but I look forward to talking to everybody about that.
Our stream is going to be longer than this movie.
That is likely, yeah, because that movie is less than 90 minutes, so that's true. Thanks again to Scott Westbrook for that great $10 super sticker. Appreciate you. Thanks again to all of you members out there. Man, this is just incredible to be able to go through this journey, hang out with you guys every week here on Talk Hard, as well as some of the other things that everybody here does. Supporting and loving on one another. We appreciate you so much. And gentlemen, can't thank enough. All I can do is try to give you a little smile. And one of the things that always makes me smile is this first little bit that Ironcaster had found. And then we'll go out with some Bob Ross love.